Welcome to page 13 and page 14 of your term combining packet. Here we're going to see expressions that have decimal coefficients. And we're also going to see the use of some different variables other than the variable x. But our strategies will still be the same, and we will term combine in the same way. You're welcome to use a calculator for these pages, 13 and 14, in your term combining packet. But let's take a look at question number 1 on page 13. It states, find the perimeter of a rectangle with a length of 2.3 g plus 4.5 h and a width of 2.1 g minus 2.2 h. Let's start by drawing and labeling a picture. Draw a rectangle and mark the length and the width. We can label the length of this particular rectangle 2.3 g plus 4.5 h. If the top is that size, so is the bottom. The width is 1.2 g minus 2.2 h. So if the right side is that, well, so is the left side. Now that your rectangle is completely labeled and drawn, take a moment to add up the 4 sides to calculate the perimeter of this particular rectangle. You can use a calculator as you combine like terms. But let's start in the work area. 2.3 g plus 4.5 h. And now the width. The left side and the right side. Now, as we combine, let's start with our h's. We are going to bring together our two negative values, negative 2.2 plus negative 2.2. We get a loss of 4.4. And bring together your two positive values. Grab your calculator and add 4.5 and 4.5. You should have gotten 9. Now find the difference between a gain of 9 and a loss of 4.4. Subtract. You should get 4.6 h. As far as combining these terms, you're simply going to take and add all these decimal values together. Grab your calculator and enter 2.3 plus 2.3 plus 1.2 plus 1.2. You should get 7g. So your final answer is 7g plus 4.6h. Let's take a look at the next problem, number 2. In number 2, it states, find the perimeter of a rectangle with the length of 5.3k minus 4.5 m and a width of 3.2k plus 2.2 m. Take a moment to draw your rectangle and label all the sides. We know we have to do a stack and combine to find the perimeter of this particular rectangle. Off to the side, we're going to stack all the terms. Pause your video if you need more time to get down all this information, but take a moment and draw the rectangle and then stack all the like terms. Pause your video if you need a little extra time. If you're ready, grab your calculator and let's start term combining. I'm going to start with my M terms here and take a negative 4.5 and a negative 4.5 and combine them. You should get a negative 9 and then a positive 2.2 and a positive 2.2 make a positive 4.4. Now combine a negative 9 and a positive 4.4. Punch into your calculator 4.4 plus negative 9. You should get negative 4.6 M. Now, as far as your K term goes, all you need to do is use your calculator and combine all those positive values. Punch in 5.3 plus 5.3 plus 3.2 plus 3.2 and hit equals. You should get 17K. This concludes page 13. Now let's look at page 14 together. On page 14, you're asked to add the following expressions. 2.4W plus 3.4Z, 2.1W plus 3.2Y, and finally 4.1Z minus 2.3Y. You can see that we have decimal values for some of our coefficients, but we also have three different variables, a W, a Y, and a Z. So one suggestion I have is for you to make a table as we term combine. Our W's will go in the first column, our Y's will go in the second column, and our Z's will go in the third column as we term combine. Let's begin. Take our first expression right here, 2.4W, that's a gain or positive, and then we're going to take this term, positive 3.4Z, and put that in the third column. Put a 0 in the middle column to occupy the space. Now let's organize these terms. A positive 2.1W, and then the Y term, which is right here, is positive 3.2Y, and we can put a 0 in this column to occupy that empty space. And lastly, let's put the positive 4.1Z in the Z column and a loss of 2.3y in the y column. And again, you can put a 0 here as a placeholder. Combine together these values by using addition. They're both positive. Combine together these values by finding the difference and subtracting. And combine together these coefficients, because they're both positive, use addition. So, for each of these, using our calculator, let's start with the W column. 2.4 plus 2.1. That gives us 4.5W. As we go to our second column, we're going to take our calculators and punch in 3.2 plus negative 2.3. You should get a positive 0.9y. And then in our last column, grab your calculator and punch in 3.4 plus 4.1. We get a gain of 7.5z. Now, take a look at your next problem, which is finding the perimeter of a triangle. As you look at this problem and take a quick perimeter walk around the triangle, you can see that we have three different variables: G and K, G and H in this one, and our final expression has a K and an H. So again, create a 3-column table so that each variable is represented, and we can organize the terms under the columns. So we will go G's, then H's, then K's. Let's organize. Let's start here with our first side. 2.4G, a 0 in the H column, and 3.4K. Our next side, we're going to take 3.5G and negative 2.3H and a 0 in the K column. And finally, our first term is 2.1, a positive 2.1K, and then a negative 4.5H. And we're going to put a 0 in the G column. Now draw a line and term combine. On your own, you need to term combine the following terms. Use your calculator and pause your video, but when you're ready, turn your video back on to check your work. Please pause your video right now. You should have gotten the following answer using your calculator. 5.9G minus 6.8H plus 5.5K. Give yourself a C for each term you calculated correctly. This concludes the video for page 13 and 14.